as we were discussing in the short for the 5D collective, the relationship with their lovely divine feminine, so our body, is something that has completely come to the forefront. So between 5D mystics and 5D functional adults, we really know one thing. We all have the mammalian heritage. We all have our ventral vagal nervous system. The capacity to access it is that lovely prefrontal cortex. So 5D, oneness consciousness. It's also the integration of your brain. So I'm attachment and trauma informed. I'm Maria. Some of you don't know who I am. You can look me up everywhere and anywhere, but the part of the 5D collective, the differences that I've noticed with our recent shift is not only that the 4D as well as the 3D have no attachment or trauma information in their back pocket. So when they're talking to you about the spiritual concepts that I've heard about since like 2006 and 7, and I'm still hearing about them in the same way now, I'm like, okay, they really don't know that the higher self is you, and that the authentic self of you is that whole 3-year-old heart that we talk about. And I'm educated because of supporting people to be their self, personal development. And I got to start learning about all of the recent information of our mammalian heritage. So again, 5D is not overwhelmed by their divine feminine, by their body. They know that the relationships that we have are opportunities, we're choice points. So that's why they don't lose people. That's why they don't disconnect. They also don't, what's the word that I'm looking for? Do Cusco. They don't do Cusco handshakes. They don't say, I love you and take it back. So they don't talk about people as energy vampires, dark auras, demonic, any of that. Flat earthers exist. So do people who are not attachment and trauma informed. And so the scale of evil, for example, of Michael Stone, 1 to 22, shows that all those people can use a good therapist for somebody who's attachment and trauma informed. So again, the 5D collective, our divine feminine, we understand it completely because when sensations, images, affects, anything comes up, and when our behavior is being presented to another, my tone, I have access to my right mode because I have access to my heart, because I have access to my higher self, which is the adult me. I don't need to reparent me. Reparenting is for those who have childhood trauma and they're with a good therapist. So people who are with good therapists, they don't use the words that we see the teenagers online using. I call them teenagers, Cuscos, squirrels, and those are all individuals that could make use of learning how to get a handle of their authentic self, their 3-year-old, because the teenager is leading the room with the 3-year-old. And independently from the depths of the degree of the shame cycle, that will be a self-soothing mechanism, inner critic, outer critic. The activities that are done by the group of teenagers, again, the ones who are consciously aware, no, that's the part of why it begins to become very, very intricate. They're not aware. It's called structural dissociation. It's called a self-soothing mechanism for a reason, and it doesn't need to have, oh, humans, they suck. They made all of these choices. Because that's where some people we didn't know about the embodied brain, the nervous system. So when people began to drink way back when and have sex and do drugs, this is all part of the shame cycle. So when you meet the group that is in spiritual and spirituality alone, without, again, attachment, trauma, information, in a way of saying, here is the now. We didn't know all of this. In the 1990s, they were still saying, as long as you don't hit your kid with the frying pan, it's okay. Who's they? The mental health community. They did not know about the embodied brain. They did not know about neuroscience stuff. They started to gather information as technology advanced because they couldn't see how the neural receptors fire and wire. Now they have eyes, and so they can see inside, which is why science and spirituality, they come together, because spirituality really was something and is still something that explains how life in the body. So when I look at Sadhguru, any of his quotes, all of his teachings, because I've done his teachings, they all lead me to the same stuff that I've learned from Daniel Siegel. For example, Mindsight Institute, interpersonal neurobiology, lifespan attachment, and disorganized attachment and dissociative identity disorder. Everything I'm learning, because 2 of them I'm still finishing up, equates a functional adult, which is a person who, again, 5D, right here, spirituality process. You can put your likes and dislikes to the side, the teenager version of you, the Cusco view. Okay, so the energies brought about a beautiful balancing for the 5D collective. That's who I'm chit-chatting with, which means the opportunity, and light doesn't do justice to this card, the opportunity of your oversoul, your entire oversoul, with or without clairs. We don't have drama or saga because we don't lie. We don't do indirect communication. Let me specify. The people who don't have, they're grown up, they are Cuscos because they don't actually have the ability to say, yeah, I don't like that. I got an attitude. Oh, you don't like it. Okay, I'll fix it up. Maybe I won't. It depends. Do we want to be friends? Do we want to be in a relationship? Relationships don't get hard for people who have a whole 3-year-old heart. We don't have shame. So the people who get here, they're inner adults. We also don't go around saying, I'm going to unapologetically be mean to somebody. We also don't get upset when our lovely community comes back around to share food for thought. And this is what I noticed. I noticed a bunch of teenagers in the last couple of days, because we all know what the full moon brings up, or I know it brings up whatever your divine feminine wants. Now, if you got a mind, I don't have, where's my mind? Well, we could use this one, the left mode, intentionality, even though it's not just the left mode. But the left mode is a chit-chatter one. And so whatever's coming up, if you're bothered, so if I'm frustrated and I don't know how to handle myself like an adult, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to be snooty or rude or whatever, right? Okay, so that's why these aspects are so straightforward. It's not even funny when I see them. Obviously, my lovely community also knows about them because they tune in. 4D, last 3-4 days, there's like all these tarot readers, all of these in the in-between. So in the in-between, they're not doing yoga. They like quoting spirituality. Yes, the 4D. They love quoting. I love spiritual bypassers. They're the most amusing to me. Peter Pans with lost boys and lost girls and lost days. It's seriously Cusco town all over YouTube whenever I'm seeing. And in one way, shape, or form, you'll notice how it's going because they're in their teenager mean girl type attitude. How dare you? I'm purging my channel. I'm going to get rid of all of you. And there you go. And that's a 3-year-old with a teenager. So you get to see all those little groups. They're all Peter Pan led with the lost boys, lost girls. And there's your 4D, 3D collective. That's not 5D collective. 5D collective is very much more, I would say, amused at this point. And there's a reason for it, though, because we're not overwhelmed by our emotional spectrum. What does that mean? It means we love our oversoul. We love our higher self, and we know how to handle it. That's why we talk about emotional building regulation skills. When you have your divine feminine, that's because you also have your divine masculine. And obviously we know about the vocal cords. Some people are learning. No, they haven't. They choose not to speak. That's the part. So remember, to my lovely regular viewers and anyone who's new, if a person chooses silence, there's 2 types. There's the type of, I don't recognize that I have emotions that I want. No, we all recognize. Inside, if your heart's open or closed. The minute that you and I are face to face, and you are acting with me and I'm acting with you, our tone is something that we can be aware of because I'll present it to you like it's been presented to me. The beauty of being a whole 3-year-old heart without any shame, thank you, Mother, is that you will not be silenced because somebody says, I don't like you. It's more of, okay, that's tell me why you don't like me, and then I'll scurry off. If I can. If I can, I won't. But my point is, the right silence is chosen from those of us who are just aware we have somebody who's choosing to keep things a secret, and not for the reasons of, I want a heart-to-heart conversation, or not for, let's get it together. No, it's because of, hiding things to themselves and then to others that they might love. So when we meet emotionally unavailable people, that's why we don't have sagas, the 5D collective. We have functional adult conversations. I share with you, you do you, and right silence